the Guardians, the Astros starting pitchers lowered their ERA, and the offense lowered their run production in the last two games. Wow. 1 run, 2 measly hits. You got to be kidding me. That's okay. I think this offense is going to be rejuvenated after a day off, Eric. And let's talk about this series and what we have to look forward to on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. Find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and Instagram, and at Astros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, even when we split with the Guardians, always Stros.
All right, so there's a lot for us to focus at. I know a lot of people are a little bit down. 1 run, 18 innings after the Astros scored a lot of runs in the first 2 games. But this team is still 70-40 on the season. There's still a lot of games left, and the Yankees, we'll talk about this in a little bit, are in a little bit of a tailspin themselves. So I'm not too worried about this, but today's episode is brought to you by Vroom. With Vroom, you can buy a car entirely online and have it delivered straight to you. You'll never have to go dealership again. So next time you need to buy a car, just grab your phone and go to vroom.com and check out thousands of great cars. And guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. YouTube numbers are going up. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed, please go subscribe. Give us a like while you're there. And go ahead and listen to us on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, where we can talk you off that cliff, where we can make you not be an illogical Astros fan and just understand that it's just 2 games. They still split the series, and sometimes the bats just go cold. I know Jose Altuve was out of the lineup. You had Kyle Tucker only get 1 at bat in the whole series. It's not that bad. The Astros just, for some reason, their bats just went cold.
Look, let's also give the Cleveland Guardians pitching credit. I mean, Tristan McKenzie today, 8 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts. He threw 91 pitches. He 2-hit the Astros, one of the best offenses in baseball. Yordan Alvarez was in there. Jeremy Pena was in there. We still had Trey Mancini. We still had, I almost said Martin Maldonado. Hey, Martin Maldonado. we had Aledmys Diaz, who has been hot of late. We had Alex Bregman. I mean, look, baseball is going to do baseball things. And just because you have a commanding lead in a division or in a league, it doesn't mean that every single game you're going to come out and you're going to hit the ball on the screws. Tristan McKenzie and Cal Control, I think that's how you say his name, did excellent. They did excellent over these last 2 games, and they stopped the Astros bats. They silenced the Astros bats. That's going to happen. Y'all got to remember, every one of these teams is a major league team. So just because their name doesn't end in Astros or they're not from Houston, it doesn't mean that the world is coming to an end. And like Joseph mentions here, the Yankees have gone cold. They got swept by the Cardinals. I mean, so teams are going to do this. We are still well within where we need to be. We get a day off. What did they do, like 19 games in 18 days or something like that? I mean,
Yes.
It's been an insane run. And I know that I've been one of the biggest advocates of players playing every day, but that has got to take a toll on your body at some time. So you have to temper your disappointment, because if you don't, you're going to drive yourself nuts being a baseball fan of any team.
Yes, and they did score 15 runs in the first 2 games on Thursday and Friday, and So with that type of offensive output, you have to expect a little bit of letdown. But one run in the past two games, that's a little bit of a downer, especially with as good as Christian Javier pitched today.
Yeah.
That one pitch to somebody that hasn't hit a home run all year. He hasn't hit a home run since 2021, and so it just was like it just sucked that one pitch can decide a game. That's what you love about baseball. And even though it was a 1-0 loss for the Houston Astros, it was still a great game overall. I mean, there's a lot of great plays made, and just I know that Dubon missed that catch, but overall, this is just it was just a great overall game. And
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. Javier's 6-8, and someone said, I can't believe he's 6-8. He has 100 innings pitched, Eric. He has 132 strikeouts. And if you look at his splits, Javier apparently has run into some bad luck because he only has a 3.14 ERA. That's lower than his career average. So he's 6-8 right now. On his career, he's 15-11. Christian Javier has just not had the support. The support that the Astros gave Verlander the other day, he hadn't had that luxury either. Christian Javier is one of your best pitchers on this staff. And it is excellent to see him still grind despite not getting support. He could have mentally checked out and start, spotting pitches where they were just crushing them and they weren't really making a ton of great contact. Like you mentioned, the guy that hit a home run hadn't hit a home run in forever. And so a 1-0 loss. Now, had Javier gone out and just laid a goose egg and wasted the bullpen and given up 10, 12 runs, 10-12 to nothing, that's a little different than 1-0. Again, when it comes to the playoffs, these guys are going to be at their best. And you have to remember, I have to remember, you may care about all the little things, each inning, each game, each win. The players have the goal in mind. They have the right focus. They'll come back ready to play the next game, and they'll be fine.
Yeah. So as the Astros, I know that Joe Espada is kind of running the team, and a lot of people are. Mr. Crone is saying that a lot of fans are upset at the lineup he's put out the last 2 days. I really wonder, with Baker kind of out with the COVID, I wonder how much influence is he still saying, "Hey, Joe, this is what I want the lineup to look like," or is this really Joe saying, "Hey, look, you just rest. I'll take care of the team. You
I
take care of yourself."
I think it really is Dusty's call, and I think he probably talks to Espada. And the only reason why I say that, Eric, is because from his presser the other day, he said Dusty's a manager. That's a manager call because they were asking about Tucker or someone else, and he said, "Well, that's Dusty's call. He's a manager." I'm assuming, and you may be right, Dusty may have said, "Hey, you're the manager. You make the lineup," and that's fine. He needs to make the lineup because next year, my prediction is he's going to be making the lineup every game. Dusty's going to retire. Joe Espada's going to take over. He's the heir apparent. But I don't know. And that would be like if we could ever get James Click on or someone like that, like how do y'all handle that in the clubhouse? And maybe that's not something they reveal publicly, but there are things that go on in the Astros clubhouse, decisions they make that we as fans like to pretend we act like we know why they make the decisions, but we really don't. I think, Eric, it's a good chance that Dusty trusts Espada enough to make the lineup, but I wouldn't also be objected if Dusty said, I really think you should put this lineup up there if you want to make a tweak or two, but this is what we should go with.
You know what really looks good on your LinkedIn profile when you go ahead and have a couple of games that you've managed, like Joe Spada's done. So next year, when he's going to look for a job, he can say, "Yeah, I had to sub in for Dusty Baker on a hopefully world champion Houston Astros lineup." So let's talk a little bit about LinkedIn.
Yeah, as you gear up for fall, you need the right people on your team to help your small business fire on all cylinders. LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier for you to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Then add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easier to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why businesses rate LinkedIn #1 in delivering quality hires and leads. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40,000 job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonmlb. That's linkedin.com/lockedonmlb to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
We had a great time at Hooters during the live broadcast this past weekend. So tell us a little bit about Hooters at NASA.
So Hooters of NASA is one of those great places you like to hang out where you can hang out with friends, family. Rosie, the manager, does a phenomenal job. They have so many great sauces, so many great things to choose from, items on the menu, whether you want sandwiches, whether you want wings, honey chipotle, whether you want chicken tenders with teriyaki like Eric. And you get to hang out with the world famous Hooters girls. They've got great service. They've got all kinds of beers on tap. And coming up in October, they are going to take another bus trip to an Astros game. So you get to ride the bus. They feed you a little bit before. They have drinks on the bus there. You get to go to the game. They feed you on the way back. It's a real good package. When you go in, ask Rosie about the trip coming up in October, and make sure that you go to I-45 South, exit FM 28 for great wings and the best service from the world famous Hooters girls. They're conveniently located in the NASA Value Shopping Center, south of the Baybrook Mall. That's 20796 Gulf Freeway, Hooters of NASA. Go hang out where all the cool guys hang out for Astros games.
All right. Thanks to everybody that came out and actually got the chance to meet us. And we got to meet some of our loyal listeners, and we gave away a whole bunch of cool stuff. So thank you. Just go ahead and listen out for the next live broadcast. We'll do another one probably in October, and we're working on something else as well. And as John says down here, the Astros have 70 wins. They're on pace for 104, 105 wins or something. So they're not going to win every game. And I know a lot of people are super negative today, and I can totally see why, especially after the offense just only scores one run the past couple games. But it is just 2 games. They're going to face the Rangers. The Rangers have a good offense, but at the same time, their pitching staff is not good at all. And so the Astros have they have a day off. They can kind of rest, reflect, and just kind of see what's going on. Trey Mancini, Christian Vasquez have some time to just kind of reflect at what happened, because they were traded away from teams that they've been with their entire careers, and everything's been chaotic. Mancini got swept up in the Homer Fest that he was doing, and then he finally got his first non-Astros hit that was a home run today, which was a single. But I think a day off will help, especially after this stretch that they've been in. And I think that just facing a team like the Rangers is something that the Astros needed. So Dusty Baker will not be flying back to Houston. He'll be staying in Cleveland until he's cleared to travel again. So Joe Espada will definitely be the acting manager for right now. So hopefully Baker has a speedy recovery, because Astros do need him. I know a lot of people are critical of him, but they do need him to go ahead and finish this up and win a World Series. But I think that a lot of people are giving Christian Vasquez a lot of grief right now. Just keep in mind, these guys have been totally uprooted from their lives. And so it may take them a little bit of time. So
who's giving Christian Vasquez grief? Okay, so it's probably the same people that gave Martin Maldonado grief. So this is what I've come to understand. Some people just want to find something to complain about. And let me just help you with mindset here. If you want to look for something to complain about in a baseball game, you're going to find it every time. Okay. So if you harbor that negative mindset for sports, you probably harbor that negative mindset for everything else. Don't make me preach, because I'll start preaching on this. You have got to take yourself out of a negative mindset. We're not the Yankees. We're not the Dodgers. We're not the Mets. We're not any other fan base. We have a special thing still going here. We are still the gold standard. Now, and I'm going to tell you this because you need to hear it. Martin Perez is going to be pitching on Tuesday.
Yeah,
he is 9-5 versus the Astros. He has a 2.64 ERA, 69 strikeouts, and 6 appearances, okay? His last 4 times he's played us, He's 2-1 in his last 4 games. So Martin Perez is going to be a challenge.
And he's
The
having a good season too.
He's
Yeah.
having a great season. I was kind of I didn't say it publicly, but I was kind of hoping the Astros would maybe trade for this guy because he seems to really do well. He's a guy that I would love to see on this. And so at the end of the day, I'm also not saying that as fans you can't be concerned about ABs, or as fans you don't have the right to be concerned when maybe certain players aren't hitting that should be hitting. But you have to take it all in stride. It's not, we don't just jump from one point to another. We've got to run there. And you don't sprint, you jog. And someone said parking $15. That's completely random. Anyways, so
Somebody was
Martin,
talking about prices as being a negative thing, like prices
oh,
for like beer and hot dogs.
oh yeah. Well, but hey, truth be
You,
known,
you're
I don't know if
paying
y'all
for
know
the
this.
salaries.
Well, here's the thing, and we haven't done it yet, but we're going to put together. I'm going to put together an episode, and we're going to talk about Minute Maid Park 101. We're going to talk about the ins and outs of Minute Maid Park. One of the things about Minute Maid Park is you can bring food into the stadium. That's right. You can bring food into the stadium. You can bring bottles of water into the stadium. Okay. And you can get that free designated driver wristband and get a free Coke. I mean, there are ways to go to the game and not break the bank. You can also bring your cup, which I have one behind me. You can bring the cup that you had last game, put it in your drawstring backpack, bring it in and refill it. It's free refills, so you don't have to pay for it. So again, if you want problems, you can find them. If you have issues with this team, you can find them. Who are you calling, Siri?
Jim Crane is calling us and shutting us down.
He's shutting us down. Why? Because we're telling the truth about the Cokes, about the cups. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want to pay $9.25 every time I want a Coca-Cola or every time I want a Coke Zero or something like that. I'm going to bring my empty cup and I'm going to fill it up for free. That's how I roll, fools.
Yeah. So, let's talk about attendance wise. I know that the Astros, they normally do pretty good, but in today's Sugarland Space Cowboys game, it was the second biggest crowd of the year. It was 6,582, and they were there to see two people pitch, Lance McCullers and Dallas Keuchel. This was a rematch of the other day, and of course, it didn't go so well for Lance McCullers. The good thing is that he did pitch 5 innings, and he allowed 7 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. The key thing, though, is he did get up to 86 pitches. And so in AAA, it doesn't really matter like the results. I mean, you would like for him to be shutting out the hitters down there because you would like him to be dominating them, but he's working on stuff. He said that he felt really good. It's just kind of like he's trying to master one level at a time. It's kind of like when you're playing Super Mario in the old days, you're trying to get one level at a time. That's what he's doing. He's trying to get one flag at a time and just getting to the next level, then beat King Koopa and everything. So that's what he's trying to do here. He's just trying to accomplish one goal at a time. Now, do the Astros feel confident about him coming back to the rotation? Do they feel ready for him after this? This is what McCullers had to say. My stuff, I think, shape-wise, was pretty good. Probably the best overall shapes I've had. I don't think they hit a ton of balls hard. My arm feels good. Quite a few pitches, back-to-back starts, a normal 4-day type of rest. And he also said, ask about potential of another rehab start. I don't want to. Everybody's been great to me. I can't say enough about the Space Cowboys and the staff here. We've had great guys in AAA organization, but I want to pitch with the Houston Astros. Of course he's going to say that.
Yeah, I mean that's Lance. Remember with our interview, the first big player interview we did a couple years ago. It seems like it seems like a long time ago. And we asked him, who do you think should be the opening day starter? And he's like, me. Like, of course it's me. It's not Zach Greinke and like I want the ball, and you want that with Lance. I think Eric, this time around is going to be a little different. I know he wants to be a starter. But I honestly think, especially if he's still dealing with arm fatigue, if his velo's not there, he would be a prime candidate to come in as a bullpen person and to be serviceable that way. I think ultimately Lance bends to that if that's what the team wants him to do, because ultimately he would rather be on the playoff roster on the field than rehabbing. And so everybody, like Dorothy, she said, I am ready for Lance McCullers Jr. We are ready for Lance. I mean, all of us are. And to see him have to go through rehab after rehab is tough. Now, with that being said, we need to hit on Michael Brantley because the Astros have kind of given us a hint into what I've been hinting towards. I'm starting to think,
I
Eric,
think we've
I
both
don't
been
think,
hinting at it.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, we've been
Yeah.
talking about, we just don't think Brantley's coming back. What did James Click say?
He basically said that I'm trying to find the exact quote, but basically said that we still have no idea what's going on with him, and that we're hoping that he gets back at some point this season. Oh, here it is. Okay. It says, we hope so, but with every passing day, you have to kind of take an honest kind of look at it. There's no update. And let me open up this Mark Berman tweet to see the bigger
Yeah, I
quote.
got it right here. He says, with our trainers, with the doctors, to try to figure out how we can get him back on the field. He is the consummate professional. He is going to grind through everything and do everything he can to be out here. But sometimes we have to listen to the body and just make sure that we don't do anything that's going to jeopardize him. We'll continue to keep an eye on him. But at this point, there's no update other than Michael Brantley is doing everything he can. And that was directly from James Click talking to Ford on sports radio, Sports Talk 790, the Astros flagship radio station.
Right. So basically, there's no update. We don't know what to tell you guys, but so we're going to tell you there's no update. So there's no
Yeah, no,
progress. There's no step back.
there is no update. There is no
Right.
update. But I think the longer they wait to give us an update, the less likely it is that he's on the field. Now, I think his presence is important in the clubhouse. I think he'll be around for the playoffs, even if he can't play. And he'll be there to talk to hitters. I mean, think about this. He'll be there to talk to hitters. He'll be able to examine at bats and stuff like that.
Yeah. I can bet that. I don't know if I'm bet on it, but Brantley's probably not going to be around or healthy enough. But, I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but let's talk about Bet Online.
Right. Now, I don't know if we're going to be prop betting on players being uninjured, but at betonline.net, it's pretty much the fastest and easiest way to check on all the things that you're betting on. It's the number one source online for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. That's right. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports wagering information. From live in-game betting, scores, and podcast, they have you covered. And maybe one day, if I get into a Pro-Am tournament on the PGA Tour, you can bet what I will shoot. Will I shoot in the hundreds or in the 90s? Because I am a scratch golfer. But BetOnline is a great place to use your mobile device or your computer to check out all the action happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Really? Just kidding.
I'm just telling you, I'm making moves, bro. I'm just telling you, you might see me in a Pro-Am in the next few years. I've got a little in on a future PGA hopeful, and I shot well enough in front of this kid that he said, bro, I'm calling you in my first Pro-Am. So I'm crossing my fingers. Dude, I crushed Magnolia
I mean,
Creek
I've
this
seen you at
weekend.
Top Golf. Yeah. So
No, Eric, you should have been there. I golfed a whole lot better than I do at Top Golf. I'm telling you, he gave me two different adjustments on my swing, on my eye focus, and what I was aiming at. And bro, I beat him on the seventh hole, and he would even tell you that. His name's Alice
okay.
Welch. Check him out. He's on the Corn Ferry Tour right now. He's actually going to Q School at the end of August. Great kid, and I can't wait to get out and golf with him again before he goes off. So it'll be fun.
In other news, something that happened after our broadcast yesterday, Pedro Leon was hit in the face in a AAA game, and it looked bad. And apparently, according to Francie Romero, I believe his name is,
Yes.
he said that Cuban prospect Pedro Leon has a small fracture in his face, but fortunately, he will not need surgery.
That's
per
good.
sources. Leon was hit in the face this afternoon in his shoulder that touched a part of his left cheekbone, and he's expected to be out 1 to 2 weeks. And ironically, the manager of the Hooks, not the Hooks, the Space Cowboys, said that we haven't gotten an update. So Romero was able to get updates before the manager was able to get an update because of his connections to the Cuban pipeline.
Now, in more pressing issues, we need to talk about something, Eric. Something that really, really has me concerned. And I know many Astros fans are concerned about it because everybody talked about it on Twitter every time it happens. Do you know what this pressing issue is?
Are we talking about the Carlos Gomez issue with Jake Myers?
Okay, why did you have to connect it to Carlos Gomez?
Because he does the same thing.
He doesn't even play baseball anymore, does he? Anyways, yes. Yeah, Jake Myers, because I completely forgot about that guy. Jake Myers' helmet does not fit. Now, he may not like tight helmets. I don't know. But like somebody's got to like size this dude up because his helmet flies off every time. And I'm not the only one that notices this. And I'm not the only one that goes, I don't know, man. This is one of those things that bugs you, right? Like it's really small potatoes. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. But y'all tell me in the chat. I know y'all notice it too. I'm like, this guy loses his helmet way too much. We need to get him one of those old school chin straps or a tighter helmet. I love Jake Myers. So I met the guy, great kid, phenomenal kid, hard worker. But that freaking helmet will not stay on for the life of him or anybody else.
Let's just get him a hair clip and just go and clip it to his hair. That way it won't come off. Is that what you want, Brett?
That's not even a thing. Do you ever hair clip a helmet? Wait, hold on. What league did you play in?
No, I'm just making up stuff.
Oh.
I'm making up stuff. Like you said, the strap. I'm just making up stuff. How about super glue?
Man.
Let's just.
And I mean, or it'd be cool is if they could wear the helmet backwards. That would be cool. Anyways, someone said Gorilla Glue. Hey, yeah, give him one of those masks like Vasquez has, like the hockey style catching mask. Look, here's the deal. Jake's a good kid. Jake's struggling. Jake's getting a lot. Like I'm not liking what I see in his production.
He had 2 hits
from
the other day.
He did have 2 hits the other day, but look at all the other games. He's not hitting again. Something's got to be up with his either his health or with after his post shoulder surgery and recovery. His swing, Velcro. Hey, all I'm saying is
just put a
it falls off too
with
much.
Velcro,
there you go.
And
like
then put Velcro on the top
or
of the
a backwards
helmet.
hat. Yeah, a backwards hat and the helmet or something like that. Yeah, so I don't know. I just kind of wanted to mention that because who likes to talk about losses, but that helmet, bro, it goes everywhere.
Yeah, so I know there's somebody in the chat talking about batting average, and I know batting average.
No, hold on. Batting average. We don't talk about batting average because you got to be unintelligent to talk about batting average in a baseball conversation.
Well, the Astros are actually 16th in baseball with batting average, but if you look at the OPS, which is what you need to kind of look at more, they're 742. Which is 5th in baseball. Then if you look at their on-base percentage, they're 9th in baseball with 318. Slugging percentage, probably going to be a little bit higher, which is 425. Total bases, if they're 5th with 1542. Of course, that was before today's game, where they did a little bit next to nothing. So, but yeah, there's just a lot of guys struggling in the lineup. You have Pena, who's been struggling a little bit lately. Then you have Diaz, who missed a little bit of time with the finger injury, and then he was in the leadoff spot. Alvarez is going through one of his biggest slumps in a while. He's still getting hit every once in a while. So Mancini is hitting, McCormick's hitting, but those two can't really. I mean, Maldonado's been hitting recently. Altuve's been getting some hits here and there, but it's just like the lineups just struggled the past few days.
Well, right. And so if you look at Jeremy Pena's August already, he's 5 for 25. He had the 2 hits in the first game versus Cleveland. He was 1 for 4 against Boston, 2 for 4 against Boston. He doesn't have any home runs. He only has 6. He's and scored and a run score. He has 1 run scored. He has 1 double. So Eric, he only has in those 5 hits, he only has 1 extra base hit. Jeremy Pena's really struggled. Jeremy Pena's Achilles heel is a slider. Like you throw Jeremy Pena a slider, he's swinging out of his shoes to get that ball. And I don't know, I don't know if those sliders are that good or if that's just his tendency, because sometimes batters can pick up the spin. Who was it that I think it's Brendan Drury, who just got traded from the Reds to the Padres. That guy, almost all of his home runs are off of curveballs or breaking pitches. He has an eye to be able to catch. That's he hit like a grand slam, his first home run in San Diego, right? It was off a breaking pitch.
Right.
Jeremy Pena obviously doesn't have that same kind of eye for breaking pitches. So that may be something that I don't know you can focus on that a whole lot right now, but in the offseason, I would like to see Jeremy Pena come back and reduce his chase rate. And I think that's where he's getting in trouble. I think he's overthinking it. I don't think he ever gets nervous about the big moments. I just think he genuinely doesn't know how to lay off that breaking pitch. And I know growing up, I knew kids like that. I knew guys like that, even guys that got drafted. Like, man, you throw them a curveball, they are going after it no matter what. So, but that's something he clearly has to fix. A slider is like kryptonite to this kid. And I hate to see it because he was hard charging towards that Rookie of the Year campaign, Eric. And I just don't know that he's even going to be in the top 3 at this point if he keeps doing this.
Yeah. So going back to the Yankees were a season high 38 games over 500 on July 8th. They were 61-23 at that time. Since then, they are a 9-16 for a 70-39 record. They lost today to the Cardinals 12-9. And the Yankees have lost 5 straight games. They were swept for the first time this season. Wow. And a guy that they traded, Jordan Montgomery, shut them down yesterday. Then a guy they traded for, Frankie Montas, got lit up today. And so just nothing the Yankees are doing is going well. So, yes, the Astros are struggling a little bit right now. They're not playing the best baseball right now. But at least I know somebody in chat earlier said that, the Astros could have been in first place in the AL right now. Yes, but at least the Yankees are struggling as well. Meanwhile, the Dodgers are like, bye, guys. We're at 74 wins now. Man, I know that doesn't really matter.
There's 75
they won today?
wins.
Oh, they won today.
They won today, yeah. They've won 8 in a row. They won 7. You get this, St. Louis is at 60 wins. They've won 7 in a row. The Mets have won 3 in a row. They have 70 wins. I'm telling you, the National League is going to put a tough opponent on the board. And again, the team that I think is going to surprise everybody in the playoffs and advance past the first round is probably going to be the Minnesota Twins. Now, if the Minnesota Twins play the Astros, I think that's less likely to happen. But the Minnesota Twins, I think, are going to be dangerous come playoff time. There's just something about them. And they've got Shohei, and we know what he does during the playoffs. So I really hope they get taken care of before we would have to face them. But at the end of the day, I still think the Mets come out on top. I like DeGrom. I like Scherzer. They're dominating. They've got a great offense. They've got one of the best, if not the most electric closer in the league in Diaz. And so I'm just going to say this, Eric. It's going to be a fun rest of the season for sure.
Yeah, and if you look at what the Astros' strength is, it's really not their starting lineup. It's really the pitching, the starting staff, the bullpen. The bullpen is one of the best in baseball. Their ERA is 2.68. Their batting average allowed is 200. And in the whole series versus the Indians, they didn't allow a single run in 9 2/3 innings. And the only kind of scare we had was Ryan Stanek. His velocity was down a little bit, but also Joe Espada and him both said that it was maybe because it was a little wet out there because it started raining during today's game. And it raining so much, I thought that they were going to postpone it or something. So
it was raining hard. Yeah. Well, and you wonder, like, is that the game you want to get postponed? Because typically the team that's winning in a postponed game, when they come back, it usually flips with the other team, or it usually goes like the hitter's way. But hey, look, 2-2 in Cleveland. It's not terrible. It's not the results you wanted. They should have swept them,
Yeah.
but the Yankees have lost 5 in a row. We're still a half game back of the Yankees despite everything that's going on. And at the end of the day, Eric, I think this team is going to hard charge their way to another division title. I think we're still going to get the ALCS, and I still have us as the favorite to go to the World Series out of the American League.
All right, so we're going to use tomorrow's podcast to go ahead and preview the Rangers series. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you subscribe to us. Make sure you make us your first listen every day. We are the Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett H-Town Wheelhouse. We are the Locked On Astros podcast. And Ghostros, we aren't worried about this. There's a long way to the playoffs, and the Astros are going to take over first place from the New York Yankees.